Welcome to the Ballers Hub, where the game meets the mind. My name is Andile Sabelo, and with me I have Lefatše Dlamini and Thami Zondi. So tonight we will be breaking down the CAF Champions League semi-finals, Orlando Pirates versus Pyramids. Orlando Pirates holds an impressive home record in the Champions League this season, something that they will definitely want to hold on to against Pyramids. So I want to find out from you, what are your overall thoughts on the semi-final matchups, Lefatsi?
Um, First of all, greetings to Tami and you, Vezo. It's gonna be a very interesting game, both tactically and maybe physically, because if you look at the way both teams play, Orlando Pirates is more of an ultra-attacking team, but the Pyramids, they don't really have an impressive away record in the CAF Champions League, seeing as they've only scored one goal. And Orlando Pirates, at home when they're playing at Escotini, with the crowd full, with the players that they have, I think they can be very, very dangerous for the Pyramids team. So for me, it's a clash of the highest level, man. If you look at what both teams want to achieve this season in the CAF Champions League, if you look at the odds, I mean, the Pyramids is a new team. You look at Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates, they are saying goodbye to Coach Jose Rivero, and for me, I think they would want to send him off in style.
Okay, that sounds impressive. Tammy, what do you have to add on to that for us?
Uh, Obviously, for me, I think Lefards have said it all in terms of how I think Orlando Pirates is going to approach this game. Obviously, we know that everyone was shocked in a way that the team announced that Jose was going to leave the team, but for this game, I think there's many important factors. For me, already people are asking themselves as to why both South African teams actually hosting the first leg, and maybe it's because of the way the format of the tournament itself. But I still don't understand as to why. But also number two, the ref is going to be very important. Despite the fact that there's gonna be a VAR, you know how these teams from North Africa behave, and I hope and actually I'm hoping that Orlando Pirates is going to actually give these people the same treatment that they're going to receive when they go up in North in Cairo. So for me, the most important thing are the fans. The fans must go all out and fill up Orlando Stadium. On the field of play, I don't think there's anything different that Orlando Pirates need to do. They've been doing so well. They are yet to lose a game, just like you said. They have an impressive home record. But this time around, it's a knockout. So it means we cannot afford not to score. We are starting at home. Orlando Pirates starting at home. They need to score at least more than 3 goals. Lefat is just alluded one important point here. And if you've noticed, even though Pyramids is one of the free scoring teams in the tournament, but they're not good playing away. I think they need to exploit that weakness. I think Orlando Pirates need to know that they're probably not going to be playing against a team like an Arc that you know that they're going to be very difficult in terms of ball position and whatnot. They're going to be playing against a team that wants to score. They've got dangerous fight men, but I don't think they're as good in the midfield and at the back.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So, while we are on that topic of approach, I would like Lefatsi to maybe elaborate for us. How do you expect Pirates to approach the game that they will be playing this weekend?
Okay, so from the tactical part of the game, man, you're looking at what Orlando Pirates needs to do. Tammy just said Orlando Pirates, they need to score goals because when we are playing away at Pyramids, it is said that the Pyramids has got 17 goals playing at home in the CAF Champions League. So when they are playing at home, they are bound to score. So what does Orlando Pirates need to do? We need to score more goals when they are playing at Escotini. So this is how I think Jose Rivero will set out his team. I think we'll go back to the traditional. One may say a 4-3-3, one may say a 4-2-3-1. But for me, I'm saying, let me just call it a 4-2-3-1 because I feel like we're not going to go back into the back three simply because we need to score more goals. So that means we need more attacking players in the final third. So I'm looking at the lineup and I'm thinking to myself, maybe you'll have a Sipho Chain there, a Diano van Rooyen, a Dion Hoto, Mbogazi and Sibisi. And in front of them, you have a Talent Mbata, a Makaula. In front of those two, you have a Patrick Tito Masangani. And then the front three will be obviously Rilem Fukeng, Evidence Mahopa, and Mohau Nkota. How is Orlando Pirates going to play now? With a lot of tactical flexibility. What do I mean, Vezo, when I'm saying tactical flexibility? I'm saying the interchanging of positions on and off the ball. you will see a Magopa dropping down into the midfield, maybe to allow Mfukeng Nabo Mohang Kota to try and occupy the space in between the two centre backs. So the introduction of Tito Maswanganyi instead of Ukogi, it is basically saying we need more numbers on attack, and then maybe leave a back four there with Uhoto and Diano van Rooyen occupying the width. But they need to be consistent in terms of if one is going up, the other one definitely needs to stay. So that is how I think tactically Coach Jose Rivera is going to set out his team, seeing as they need to score goals in order to go away with maybe an advantage. Because if they score one, no matter if the pyramids also, because another thing is they cannot allow pyramids to score, because if they allow pyramids to score, that is advantage to pyramids. Whether Orlando Pirates wins 2-1, whether the game ends in a 1-1 draw, it's still an advantage to pyramids because of the away goal rule. So they need to score more goals, but they also need to make sure they don't concede. Hence why the introduction of Sipo Chain coming back into the lineup with Usubis and Mbogazi is going to be very, very important for that particular game.
Okay, very elaborate analysis there, Lefatse. So let's head over to Utami. What about you? What do you think Orlando Pirates' approach will be for this coming match?
I think I agree with Ulefate in some way, but in terms of the lineup itself or the formation, I do not think Jose is going to change the 3 at the back or 5 at the back formation, depending on how you look at it. I'm saying this because if you look at the previous 5 Orlando Pirates games, the last time we considered a goal was against SuperSport United in that 3-2 win, Nedbank Cup win. And ever since Orlando Pirates have gone to the back 3, we are not conceding. And for me, championships are those that concede less. A goal always comes. That's what I believe. And the way I look at it, people should not be blinded by the fact that he went to a back 4 against Maruma Karan. There were so many reasons. He had to refresh some of the players. He had to actually let China arrest. He had to let Koga arrest. He had to rest Ombat was not even on the match day squad. And therefore, for me, I see the same back 3. I see Kogi, I see Smisi, I see Mbogazi, I see Van Rooyen, I see Uhoto. Solely because, just like Lefatse said, the most important thing, remember that the CAF Champions League is not the same as the European Champions League. In the fact that we still, the away goal will still applies. And I think we are going to go to the back 3 formation, and we're still gonna. The only change I'm seeing, what Jose has done is that in the first game, the knockout stages, he had Udlamini playing with Umbata and Makaula. In the second leg, he changed Udlamini for Unkota. This time around, Orlando Pirates is playing Escodin, and the Prince of Orlando Stadium, we expect him to be back on the field of play. I expect Tito to actually be the one in the place of either Udlamini or Unkota, but the lineup should be the same. People must say whatever they want to say about Magopa, whether he's a good enough number 9, whether he's a center forward, whether he gives us goals. But let me tell you something. Lefatse has elaborated one important thing. It depends on how you look at it. It depends on what the coach wants. I think when Vezo and when you differentiate between Umabasa and Magopa allows, like Lefatse said, allows Urela Mfugeng, allows Utito, allows Unkota to come in and become false nines. It becomes difficult with Mabasa because it's not as mobile. If you look at how we scored, Orlando Pirates scored in all the games where he is starting, you will see that he drops and plays wide. He did that against Mamelodi Sundowns, where Denver became a number 9 or a false 9. I see him starting. I see the back 3. I see Mbata coming back. I see Tito El Kibele Orlando Stadium. That's what Orlando Pirates need. But most importantly, they cannot afford to concede. Even if they win 1-0 is good enough for me. Even if they win 2-0, 2 goals against Pyramids, like I said, they are very vulnerable at the back. They score a lot, but they concede a lot as well.
Right. Okay, that's very clear on Orlando Pirates' side. So let's head over to the Pyramids side. How do you think that Pyramids will approach this coming game with Orlando Pirates this weekend? Let's start off with you, Thami.
People would be asking themselves what Pyramid. Pyramid is let me just say, is the main seat of the Egyptian football. They have resources, they've got money, they go all out in Africa looking for the best players around. They have our own friend in the K. They have Fiston Moyele from DRC. Most people will remember he was rumored to be going to Kaizer Chiefs for some time. while playing in Tanzania. They are still the new team in the block. I think they're currently leading the league in Egypt with 4 points, with only 3 games remaining against Alak. Versus Alak, because those are the rivals. But like I said, they play a 4-2-3 formation. They have some key players, but one of those players apparently is injured, which is key for Orlando Pirates to take advantage of. But like I mentioned, they are very dangerous going forward. They're a free scoring team, and I don't think they're going to change, because I've noticed that in all their games they use the same players. They just played, I think they played an Egyptian Cup where they lost 2-0, and they changed 50% of the squad, because obviously they were serving or reserving their players for Orlando Pirates. I think I'll allow the fans to take on the technical part, but that's the team that's going to play against Orlando Pirates. I think I remember first Moyele had a problem in the last CAF Champions League where he did not get a visa, but this time around his visa issues have been sorted out. He is in South Africa with the squad, or will be traveling to South Africa with the squad. So we should be aware that he's probably their main man going into this game, especially with Abdel, who is rumored to be injured and not part of the squad.
Lefatse, would you
Okay,
like to
so
share the technical side of things?
yeah. So this is a CAF Champions League game. So technically, you know how North Africans would like to be. They normally come here. They would like to defend, sit back, and relax. But one thing I've noticed about the Pyramids is they have very, very rapid players. They are very, very quick. So then, what does that mean? It means, for me, what I see them doing, like Bo Al Ahly, like Bo Zamalek, like Bo MC Alger, all those typical North African teams, when they come and play a team that is from South Africa, like a ball playing team, if I may say, they normally want to sit back but allow their fast players to catch teams on the counter. Hence why I said Diano van Rooyen and Dion Hoto, if one of them is going, the other one needs to sit back just to maintain that safety in the defense. They are also dangerous on set pieces, which then means they will try by all means, Uti. Whenever they have a chance, whether it's a corner, that is when you will see more numbers. That is when you will see more players on the box of your Orlando Pirates. But other than that, I think they are very rapid and they are very good on set pieces.
All right, so we're going to move forward and maybe channel the weaknesses that the weaknesses that the teams might face on the day. So, Thami, let's start off with you. What weaknesses could be exposed in each of the teams this weekend?
You know, I think when it comes to Orlando Pirates, it's difficult to actually highlight the weakness, especially in the CAF Champions League. I think they've done so well. There were question marks, of course, in terms of how they're going to deal with set plays against these teams from North Africa, just like Lefatse said. And for me, I think they've dealt with that very well, and especially when Kogi is around. But of course, I think CBC, whom I believe is probably the best defender in the tournament so far, has shown that it's able to deal with set pieces, being the sweeper or a marker, depending on the formation. I really can't see any weakness with Orlando Pirates. But the only issue I have with them is that ever since we started the knockout stage, we haven't been scoring well. We tend to create many chances, but we don't score. And for me, that's the most important thing. That's their weakness. I think they need to convert whatever chance they have. This is CAF Champions League. Like Lefatse said, this team is going to be playing on transition. So whenever they get a chance to look to score, Orlando Pirates need to convert their chances. Going to Pyramids as I close, Pyramids they've scored 1 goal away. So it tells you the story. They find it difficult to actually be themselves when they're playing away. I think Orlando Pirates need to exploit it. So in other words, we need Orlando Pirates need to go all out and have a chance of scoring the goal. But also, when you look at the numbers, this is the team that was the second in terms of the number of points, because they had 13 points, the exact number of points in their group with Esperance, of which they were only better at Orlando Pirates. So you can tell that they are dangerous as well. But I think Orlando Pirates should be able to get away with a win in this game.
Right, Lefatse.
So first of all, for me, let me go back to the tactical part of the game. My only weakness that I see, maybe two from the Orlando Pirates, is the rest defense. Thami, we have been having this problem ever since the season started. You know that 2-2 rest defense, where whenever Orlando Pirates is in position of the ball, they tend to push all their players, leaving the 2 center backs and then the 2 midfielders, which is then a problem now because they're leaving the sides exposed. But then if they were to play, like Thami said, a back five, maybe a back three of centre backs, which is Uxogi, Umboraz, and Sbis. So that means then that problem will be covered because then they will switch back into a 3-1 rest defense. But the 2-2 rest defense has been a problem for Orlando Pirates over the season as the season has progressed. So they need to fix that. Another thing is the midfield. You know, when you are playing with Mbata and the Makaula, you don't really have a general in that midfield, which then means more Umbogazi and Usibisi, they will need to play long balls in order to find the likes of Aborile, the likes of Abonkota. Or sometimes then you will find Tito Maswangani dropping back to try and collect the ball, which then leaves Pyramids numerically more in terms of, because they would have more defenders and then Orlando Pirates would have less attackers because Tito has now dropped to collect the ball. So it's all those things. But for me, that's 2-2 rest defense. It's something that they need to look out for. Another thing, they need to try and make Ama midfielders be involved a lot more in the game, especially in the build-up phase, so that Tito doesn't drop back, but they allow him to be dangerous in those attacking areas, no matter the attacking third.
All right, thank you, Lefatsi. So we're just going to close off with some final predictions. We're going to start off with Thami. How do you see this match ending off this weekend?
I see a very good win for the Pirates. I'll say 3-0. I think that would be a 3-0 scoreline and a good result going to Cairo in the second leg.
All right, Lefatsi, what are your predictions?
Yeah, I'm seeing a 2-0 win, Orlando Pirates.
Right, so everyone, you've heard it here first. Thami says 3-0 to 3-0 for Orlando Pirates, and Lefatsi says 2-0 for Orlando Pirates. So we have to just wait and see what happens on the weekend. Stay tuned, and we will see you in our next video. Oh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe until we see you on the next one.